Hello, welcome to Quantum Spirituality. I'm your guide, Jane Ritz, as we consciously create a life in love where the physical and spiritual meet. And I would love to share with you how I have been navigating an energy into my physical body so that I can live a life that is more in my heart, more compassionate, more joyful, more blissful. And the energy that I've been working with is anger. And I have done a lot of work with it in my life, namely in the last year. And then I felt really good with it. I was like, feels good. I don't want to say I'm complete because I'm still going to have emotions and have experiences that I feel anger around because I'm not afraid of anger anymore. And anger came in really loudly for me recently. I don't know if you can see, I still have a hint of a bruise right there. It's a little yellowy. Um, I was moving the anger through my body, and I'll share more about that in a moment. And as I was moving it through my body, I hit my arm on on the edge of the sofa, which is hard. And I was like, ow, that hurt. And then I had this massive bruise, which just reminded me of the process. So I would like to share with you my process because I don't feel I'm the only one who experiences anger. And I definitely feel that the way I have a relationship with anger right now is the healthiest it's ever been. And I'm sure it's going to continue to unfold and grow into something even healthier. So I hope that my intention is that this lands with inspiration and realness. Um, I've realized that as I am doing this broadcast, that I'm very authentic in it. I'm not fancy in it. I am me. I'm very me in this, which means I may have on earrings and hot pink lipstick. And you may still hear the sound of my refrigerator running because I'm in Costa Rica and this is what I have. So I appreciate your grace and willingness to be a part of this share. So if you want to do that with me, that'd be great. I love breathing. Breathing is so good. Where do I start? Okay, so I will share, and I don't want to share a lot of her story because it's her story, it's not mine to share. But I will share a story about my mother and how she has inspired my healing with anger. I have many stories, but this is the one that I am called to share right now. So, my mother has experienced physical pains since she was about 14. She was in a car accident and broke her back and her jaw and was in a cage. She survived. Well, technically, she died um, and then came back. And she was in the hospital for many, many, many nows. And on top of having scoliosis and other physical things, her physical body has been through the ringer. And it's very interesting because she's also super healthy. Like the immune system of I don't even know what. Like she never gets sick. And my life growing up has been as a witness and in some instances a caregiver during her um, healing, her prognoses, um, her surgeries, and um, the manifestations of the pains before the diagnoses came. And so seeing my mother in physical pain is not new to me. I don't look at her and only see pain. I look at her as vibrant and lively and focused and courageous and very with it. And I usually would get emotional around this. So that's what this is. So over my life, witnessing her have spinal fusions and different things. I don't want to get into her like medical history and many, 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 many things. And things that are just like uncomfortable. Like, I don't want to have a spinal fusion, let alone numerous ones, because the fear around having to have one, right? Because you could be paralyzed if they just, oops, little slip. The recovery, the recuperation, the physical therapy, the mobility that has shifted, changed, become a lack, like so many things. And so the things that she's experienced have been really uncomfortable, just really uncomfortable. And I don't like seeing that, right? I don't. I don't enjoy watching anyone experience physical pain and then the limitations that that brings. I've experienced it myself. I've gone through 2, maybe 3 times in my life where I had a physical, I'll say injury for lack of better, where I could barely walk. And not only was that just like a total pain in the butt, but the emotional and mental wearing down that was, that no one could see those pains. No one could see my mind being concerned about, oh God, is this permanent? No one could feel my frustration or my disappointment or fear. I mean, maybe they could, but not from my, like you can't see it. It's not like I had a big scar, big sign on my chest that says, hey, can't really walk that well. It's just, I just look like I'm aging. So anyway, so she spent most of her life in this way. And she has always held a really positive attitude. She's always found laughter in it. She's always found the bright side, the silver lining. Always, always has. And she's always been very open about what she's having, like what she's experiencing. And like, you know what, I've made it this far. Like, I'm fine. It'll be fine. I trust the doctors. I trust the pharmacy. I trust, so she's got so much trust. And I don't like seeing it. And so the other day, she shared with me that she had fallen. And this time she hit her head. And gratefully, some people were around her, and so they could physically help her up and get her back into her house, and found that she had a mild concussion after they took her to the hospital, and because she was disoriented. And so she's fine. She's recovering. She is mending, and I am grateful. But something that I want to share about this, because I don't think I'm the only one. And I've felt this before, but I've never allowed myself to fully feel it. So this is my first time really sharing it verbally. And I have definitely felt this with myself. And I felt, after she told me this, I felt a level of anger that I've never felt. And I was angry. I experienced anger at God, at source, the wordless. Like, I don't have a specific name, so I'll say God for now. I was so mad at God. And I don't want to do that, right? Like there's this program somewhere that says, don't get mad at God because God could kill you, or God is going to judge you because you should love love. And all these like programs that came around with that. And I've always, no matter why I would feel anger, I would shove it down because ultimately I was mad at creator for creating this scenario. And and I was like, no, I'm safe. I can hold this. I can actually hold my emotions and let them move through. I'm resourced. I have the tools. And so I started to let it be and I sat with it. And what that looked like was sound and movement and meditation and crying. So I would like to share this process with you and what I was recognizing in my process, because I wasn't thinking about what do I do now. I was just letting this energy move through my body, this anger, and I was witnessing it. So I'm sharing it from that perspective as the witness. And in that, I can also share with you why I was doing what I was doing, or what, like the benefits of it. Because again, I want to live a life in love. So I'm not here to ignore my feelings and emotions and energy. And I'm here to be fully embodied as the divine as best I can. So I started to feel this anger, and I was like, okay, let's do this, Jane. Like, we're going to feel this. And so what came out was me yelling, damn it, God, why would you do this to her? Why would you do this to this woman? Why would you break her back? Why would you break her jaw? Why would you give her cancers? Why would you have this, and this? Why would you do that? Why? And then I got mad at my mom. Damn it, mom. Why would you choose this? Why would you choose this experience as a human? Because my belief is that we're choosing our experiences. A lot of people don't like to hear that, but that's what I believe through so many reasons, and that's another topic. And I'm like, so I was just mad. And yet the bigger part of me had an understanding so clearly that the reasons for this was to create more love, more compassion, more grace. And as far as I'm concerned, my mom's taken one for the team, because every time she goes through this, I feel more compassion. I feel more grace. I feel more love. I feel more gratitude for my body, for her still being here. And I am supposing that I am able to do that because she's going through these really hard times that are really not pleasant for me to witness. And I don't want to not witness it. I want to be her witness. I want to be someone that she can share with and be a safe space with. And I can and be able to hold it and not like break down and be like, I can't listen to you. I can't, I'll freak out. And, like, let me fix you. But just like be someone that loves her through these pains. That to me is grace. So I'm like, wow. So what came through was, first of all, a deep appreciation for my mom. And this is where the crying came in, that she would choose a physical body that would require extreme care. That she would choose a body that, surprise, something else is wrong. Surprise, something else is wrong. Oh, what's next? The amount of compassion that I feel because of that, because of continuously witnessing physical pain and not having her be mad about it. Now, granted, maybe she does feel anger about it, and maybe she's not letting it move. Maybe she's bypassing the anger because she's got enough pain. And that's where I feel I come in, is I'm willing to feel the anger and the how dare you do this to her, standing up for her in this playing field of the heart. And, when I was just mad and like, God, why are you doing this? Like, can you just like give homegirl a break? Like, can you just let her have peace and comfort in her body? Like, come on, dude. Dudette creator, like you genderless nugget of love. Like, can you not just give my mom some friggin' grace and ease in her body? And it was that, like that feeling like, come on, yo. And so as I was feeling that, I was crying, but it wasn't enough for me to just sit there and cry. It was bigger than that. And so I allowed my body to move. So I put music on. And I put music on that's like, it's part of my Rage Alchemy playlist. And so I'm like letting my body move. And what I noticed that my body was shaking. It wasn't like, ugh, it was like shaking, big movements and like trying to like almost like shake this anger out. And I realized like, oh my God, I've been carrying this my whole life, because when you see someone hurting, some people get mad at the person hurting. I've seen that happen, right? It's like a kid gets hurt and instead of like, oh my God, like, let me help you. It's like, what's wrong with you? Why did you do that? Right. And then so the person in pain gets blamed. So neither parties get to experience the fullness of the experience of the pain, which a part of pain is suffering. And that could look like anger or frustration. So I was moving literally my entire life's experience of anger at her pain, just at her pain, not at her, but her pain for holding her and manipulating her life and controlling it in ways that she may never even admit. Because when you're in pain, you're controlled by the pain because you're limited. And so I'm moving my body, I'm shaking. I started to punch a pillow. And the pillow was on the sofa, and I'm just wailing. That's how I got the bruise, because I had it like next to the arm of the sofa, and then I hit. So that's what that was. I wasn't punching myself. Old ways. Of how I used to deal with emotional pain is that I would hurt myself because I didn't know how to feel the pain, because I couldn't feel the underlying things, which would have been anger, suffering, sorrow, grief, remorse, regret, judgment, fear, all those things. I would go to self-harm. So this time I'm like, well, I don't want to hold this energy in because that does harm too. I'm not going to bypass it because that does harm. It leaves like an echo imprint in my quantum program that will will rear its ugly head at the most inopportune times. It'll come out as a projection in a relationship. It'll come out as I'm driving. I'll manifest it in my own physical body and I'll be like, ow, something hurts, because that's how energy works. So I was moving it through and I'm punching this pillow, and then I would just cry, and then I would start to move and like dance and shake and like sing these songs of, like Rage Against the Machine and stuff like that. So it's like music, medicine music in so many ways. And so I allowed myself to just be in this process and feel this sacred style of anger. Like it wasn't like I'm mad at God and I hate you, God. It was like, I love you so much. Why would you do this? And so that went on for, I don't know, 30, 40 minutes. I don't know. I don't know the time. I was in it. This is a total guesstimate. It could have been an hour and a half for all I know. But I was letting the tears flow and the anger flow. And what I noticed that I would go back and forth between anger and frustration and the the sadness and the compassion and the why, and then gratitude that my mom's still alive, that I still get to have her in my life, gratitude for my own physical body. It was fuel and fire for me to continue to love my body and to take care of it and to move it and to honor it and to nourish it and to nurture it and like take care of her and enjoy every single moment that I can get out of bed and walk without having to have support, you know? And so then I would feel grateful for my body, and then I'd be grateful for her, because without her living in this experience, I wouldn't have this depth of gratitude and compassion for her and for myself. And then I would feel anger again, because how could you? How could you choose this? Why would you do this to yourself? Why would you hurt yourself like this? Why would you create this reality? And back to God, and God, how could you do this? And then my belief is that we're all reflections of each other, that everything is a part of the oneness. Because we're all a part of the oneness, everyone is having a different experience. And the common thread is that we're all a part of Source. So in my belief, my next door neighbor is living her life in a way that, cool, I don't have to live that, because she's living it for me. So now I get to watch it. You know, people that are people that I have a dear friend. She has a beautiful business, very successful, community center. Awesome. I want that for myself, but I actually don't want to like do all the work. So I get to watch her live out one of my own dreams. And I'm like, this is amazing. She's putting in all the work and the effort and the time and the energy and the focus and all of that. I get to experience it through her shares, through her challenges, through her wins. I get to experience it through her stories. I get to experience her creation and her business, but I don't have to do it. It's like I am currently living in Costa Rica and I am doing my laundry and letting it air dry. There are people out there that they don't have to let their clothes air dry in the sun. They got a machine to do that. So I'm living a life so that you don't have to. So we're all living this really individuated experience of the whole. And I say that because I realize too that my mom is choosing to live an experience so that I don't have to. And that goes back to the take in one for the team. I had a housemate one time, and beautiful man. And he went roller skating or rollerblading or something one day, and he fell and he broke his wrist. His wrist was like all directions. It was like an accordion. It was really messed up. And he calls and he's like, "Hey girl, can you help me? I need to go to the doctor." And I was like, "Yeah, I got time for that." And he was like, "No, but for real, my wrist is facing the wrong way." And I was like, "Oh, okay, fine." So I pick him up and I was like, "Oh God, like that's okay. Yep, ER, let's go." And at one point I looked over him and I thanked him. I was like, "Thank you so much for doing this." And he's like, "What?" And I said, "Thank you for having this accident, because that means that I don't have to. I don't have to fall down and break my wrist like you did. So thank you. Like, I'm grateful that you're having this so that I don't have to." And he got very emotional and was very touched, because he grew up in a household where, I guess if he hurt himself, his mother's reaction was, "Well, what did you do that for? This is what happens when you look, like you deserve the pain you're in." And I also, and I'll share more of these in other episodes, but I've been in certain situations, like I was in a plane that crash landed. And so when I tell people that story, some people are like, "Oh my God, don't tell me that." And I'm like, that totally lowers your chance. Like the fact that you know someone who, statistically speaking, you're golden, pony boy. Like you don't even have to do that. I did it for you. I got you. Right. And so I see that when others are having experiences that suck, that I would say that suck, like, "God, thank you so much." So I kept feeling these waves of gratitude, and then anger and sadness, just sadness, and allowing myself to feel the sadness. It was beyond sadness. It is a sorrow. And it's like feeling sorry for someone, but without the pity and the ugh. It's like a divine sorry because it's just out of love. Nothing's wrong with them. It's just out of love. And so I was feeling this depth of sorrow for a physical life that she will not be able to live. And then I felt grateful and inspired to live the life that I can live physically. And so I went through this sorrow, compassion, gratitude, anger, rage, woes, and whys until I couldn't anymore. And so I just sat. And I'm sure I had my hands in a mudra. I'm sure it was like in a prayer or something. And I breathed. I just sat there and I breathed. So that would be the equivalent of me dropping into meditation. And I don't know how long I sat there. But what came through was the clarity, the peace around it all, the radical acceptance for it all. I obviously still feel, I don't feel the anger, but I do still feel the compassion and the sadness. And the, really? That sucks. And that's just me. Like I'm sensitive like that. And I love her. I do a lot. So I sat there in meditation and all this clarity and acceptance anchored in a to a level that I had not experienced. I accept that she's had her experiences and is in her body, and I accept her choices and I accept all of it, but it landed very differently. And I realized that it was because I was holding all this anger and frustration and about it. So when those things literally alchemized through my body, through my breath and the words and the sweat and just the movement, my fascia, my lymph system, everything, I was moving it through my field. I was moving it through my field around me as I'm flailing about. Because I did it all by choice and safety, it cleared out of my field, out of my body, my mental body, my emotional body. And then when the clarity and acceptance came in, those were new neural pathways that came online. A part of my heart like expanded because all of that movement of anger was the contraction and the squeezing out of these emotions. And the expansion was this peaceful acceptance. And then a dedication, dedicating my life to her and also my father. And that's a different story. But in this, I'm talking about mom. But dedicating my life to her, dedicating when I get to climb a mountain, when I get to swim in the river, when I get to dance, when I get to fall down and pick myself up, when I get to, I feel this thank you, mom. Thank you for birthing me. Thank you for moving through your pains so that I could feel more better, more love. And I feel then more inspired. I feel more devotional to the Divine Mother, you know? I think in our program, we've been taught so much about God being a man that many of us have forgotten about the mother. Or we'll turn to Mother Earth. But because my mom has chosen this body and this life that she has chosen, I have more devotion to the goddess, to the Divine Mother. And my intention is to embody that more fully, to embody the strength, the resilience, the ability to feel pain, and embody the love and the compassion and the ability to move that through my body. So afterward, I felt clear. I felt inspired. I felt a different level of gratitude. And I share this because, yeah, we have anger. We don't understand why there's pain and suffering on this planet. I don't understand how brothers can pick up a gun and shoot another brother because that brother lives on another, beyond a made up boundary called a different land or country or state. I don't understand it. I don't understand how children and elders are not cared for, not honored, not heard. I don't understand it. But I know that if I don't allow myself to feel the anger around it, then I can't come into an energy of acceptance. And it's beyond acceptance, which is the vibration of peace. Beyond that is when inspiration comes in, an act of devotion, a commitment, a way of being. So that's how solutions are made. So, like I said, with my mom, she's inspired me to take certain actions of, working out, um, doing balancing things, strength training, like running, whatever, traveling, like these things that she has inspired me to do. And not because I have to, but it's like a devotional inspired action. And every time I do the thing, then I send it in gratitude and dedication to all mothers, all women, all beings. So I'm literally doing quantum work because of where those actions stemmed from. But if I just held on to that anger and didn't allow it to move through me, if I held on to the anger and denied it, or if I held on to the anger and projected it to myself, like what's wrong with you, or projected it in any other relationship outside of myself, then I'm only adding more harm and pain into the world. I'm not doing anything to change it. So anger is real. We experience it because we don't understand why things are the way they are. And I feel the bigger part of us, or at least I can speak for myself, the bigger part of me has an understanding of why things are the way they are, so that we can be more loving and kind and compassionate and experience more joy and bliss and unity and create a new earth, create heaven on earth, live heavenly lives here on earth. I'm so snotting. Thank you for your grace. I thought about getting a tissue and then I was like, I'm not going to cry. Of course I'm going to cry. I'm talking about these things that are in my heart. So I share this as, again, as hopefully an inspiration to be able to, for you to create a life in love. And that means taking energy and facing it and feeling it and moving it through. We are alchemizers. We transmute energy. We have the capacity to do so. Not everyone has tools. Not everyone is resourced to do so. I'm full of tools. I'm full of resources. I work with people one-on-one and in groups to guide the way so they can do their version of what has worked for me. And what has worked for me has come through divine guidance, spirit guidance, as well as, you know, over 20 years of studying the energy body, the subtle body, psychology, and how the earth itself as a living organism works, and like quantum stuff. You know, so I feel like I'm pretty much an expert at this point. But people don't have the tools and resources. So I'm sharing it here to make this accessible, you know, so that you can see like, okay, well, that was Jane's process. She didn't really tell me all the details. She didn't walk me through it, but hey, I have the gist of it. I can try. If you want more support, you can go to my website, janetheguide.com. You can look into booking a private session with me, look into my mentorship programs, subscribe to this channel, to these broadcasts, keep abreast, and you'll start to see a repeating pattern of my Jane-ness, of my essence, that will click a version of your essence because I'm holding a certain frequency. So it will activate a certain frequency within you. And wherever your frequency is, I can amplify that. That's what I want. I want to amplify your light and your vibration and your energy into more light and more love, because that's the world I want to live in. So I ask that when you or someone you know or don't know is experiencing pain, mental pain, emotional pain, or physical pain, please don't blame them. I used to blame my mom so much. I would blame her. Well, if you would just, mom, this was when I was way younger, but, you know, like, mom, just do yoga, just do strength training. Mom, drink more water. Mom, do these things. If you do these things, you'll feel better. And then I would blame her for feeling bad. That's the last thing she needed. And then allowing myself to feel the anger at me for doing that to her. Because I know where my heart was. I thought I did. You know, I thought that the way I was blaming her was going to inspire her. Little did I know that she just probably wanted to be held and loved and accepted, because that's what we all want, especially when we're in pain. I mean, yeah, having some tools. If someone's like, hey, like, if you do this exercise, it'll help. Like, PT is great for, like that's not negating that. And it's like if you have two parents and you fall down, you hurt your knee, you got the parent that's there with the Band-Aid and the saline. That's, you need that. And it's also really nice to have the parent there that will just hold you and love you while you're experiencing pain without blame or question or anything, you know? So if you see someone, or if it's yourself and you're in pain, yep, you probably caused something. You did something to get yourself in this predicament. Yep, sure enough. Okay, cool. Well, you can take accountability and responsibility. You don't have to blame yourself. You don't have to shame yourself. You don't have to feel guilty about it. But if you feel these things, then get to the root of it. Are you actually feeling anger and frustration? And do you have the tools and resources to actually move it through? If you don't, get the tools or the person that has them. Get the support you need. Get the guidance you need. Get the team behind you. Because everybody wants everybody to feel better. Nobody likes to see people suffer. There's some demented mofos out there, and they're just hurting that much that they enjoy seeing others hurt, because then it alleviates their own pain. They got some issues, and I still wish their suffering to stop. I still wish for peace to come to them, mental, emotional, and physical. So wherever you are in this game of life, may we create it in as much love as possible, not ignoring the pain, the suffering, and the sorrows and the challenges, but being able to face them and hold them and love them and move them through, move them to the other side, right? It's like if the kid got hurt, you want to hold it. And sometimes you have to hold it and like move it off the street, you know? or pick up the sick baby and put it into the bed, so it's like moving it from pain point one to more comfortable space. We can do that with ourselves and each other, and it takes love. It just takes love. It takes guts too. It takes courage. It takes courage to see this with such an open heart, because it hurts in a deeper way. It's like going through a breakup that you that really hurt, like, oh, that hurt, I don't want to do it again. But we're here to bring the physical and the spiritual together. We're more than the physical matter that we see here. We're more than that. We're more than what meets the eye. And we're more than just energy. We are both. And when they come together at the heart, at the 0 point of compassion and love, then we are consciously creating a life like no other, where the children are honored, that the elders are honored, that we, whatever your middle generation is of now, that we become a cohesive now generation that are consciously creating a reality together. And this to me is quantum spirituality. So I wanted to share my process with a very big energy so that I could embody the divinity of what this energy has to offer. The divinity that anger has to offer has been different each time, but sometimes it's a deeper level of love. It's a more expanded version of love, or joy, or creative energy, or sexual energy, or compassion, or grace, or bliss, of rest. So thank you for listening. If this was inspiring, please share it. Please subscribe to it, like it, do all those things that we do as humans in this technological age to show that we support someone's expression of their creative energy. This is my expression of creative energy. I have my purpose work. I have my mentorship. I have retreats. I do these things. I have clients. I do my work. It doesn't feel like work. This is my creative energy that's very real and very raw. And your subscribing and your liking and sharing makes a difference. Because to me, that says that somebody is enjoying or getting something out of this. And if you're interested in working one-on-one or joining a mentorship program, go to my website. Again, it's janetheguide.com. And you can stay in the loop. You can put your email address on there, and I can keep you abreast of online cacao ceremonies that I hold, so you can join in a container of love with people around the world. And my favorite plant medicine, who's been my ally for many, many, many years now. And I love to share her and her wisdom. So thank you for taking the time. Thank you for trying to be the best human you can be. And I want to remind you that you are the best human that you could be, because you're perfect as you are. Remember that you're loved. You're love. And take care of yourself and each other. And until next time, I'm Jane, and I'll see you on another now. Ciao.